Hey everyone, Gene Ginsberg and the lovely Angela Giles.
Hi, Jean. How are you today?
I am doing excellent. I am very excited today. This week's topic is LinkedIn. So, do you want to share a little bit about LinkedIn and get started with that? Let's just talk
A-
about what is LinkedIn.
Absolutely. So, LinkedIn historically has been more of a professional connection type of platform where professionals that either are people that have a professional career or you own a business get on and you connect with people. You can find clients in that way, but it's not like the Facebook arena where people play games and it's just like throw any picture up of anything. It's much more professional. But what I've seen over the past 6 months, I would say, Jean, and you can share your thoughts on this too, is that I think there's a lot of people that historically just spent time running, like sharing their business on Facebook, and Facebook was their go-to place, but they're moving more to LinkedIn because LinkedIn is just becoming more popular and more mainstream in the aspect of it. You can build your business there, and I really like it. And it's still the thing I like about LinkedIn now is the logarithm is how Facebook used to be. You can still see a lot of people's stuff versus just a handful of people, right?
Yep, absolutely. So that's a very good point. LinkedIn has been around for a long time. I think I
Yeah.
joined LinkedIn in like 2007, 2008. So on par with Facebook and the other social media platforms. But yeah, definitely a lot more professional in the sense like kind of other way I delineate it is like LinkedIn is more like corporate individuals, business owners. And then the way I see Facebook is more like entrepreneurs, people who are just getting started with their businesses, or have been around with their business, but like more entrepreneurial. And then LinkedIn is more like professional slash like business owner slash corporate. So the topics definitely differ a little bit in the sense that with Facebook, yeah, you can definitely get away more with like doing more personal stuff. LinkedIn is definitely more professional, and that's kind of the I guess overall vibe that you get from LinkedIn. But I love the fact that you mentioned the algorithm. Absolutely true. I had a podcast. I have a podcast, and Gary Vee was on my podcast I don't know, this was like 6 months ago. And one of the things that we talked about, of course, is social media. And one of the things that he mentioned was LinkedIn and TikTok, and he was very bullish on both of those
That's
because.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean TikTok. That's we talked about that, and he's very bullish on that. But with LinkedIn, that was the other one he mentioned, and I was a little bit surprised because LinkedIn's been around for a long time. There's obviously Facebook and Instagram, but he was very adamant about like if you have a business, definitely get on LinkedIn because the algorithm will still allow you to be seen versus with Facebook and Instagram. It is much harder to get into the algorithm these days, especially if you're using if you're using like your Facebook page, for example, because Facebook uh, definitely favors like personal updates a lot more than professional update, like professional as I mean like business page updates. So LinkedIn is an amazing platform to use for yourself if you're a business owner or if you're an entrepreneur. In terms of one of the questions I get asked is like, do you still want to use LinkedIn even if your audiences are mostly hanging out on, let's say you're more of like a business to consumer type of brand where like audiences might be hanging out on Instagram or Facebook, right? I still would use LinkedIn from a professional standpoint, right? Because you still want to potentially have strategic partnerships, or have colleagues in the space, right? It's not only about finding necessarily your direct customers, but also like networking with other individuals and other business owners. So don't leave out LinkedIn.
No, and I like what you said there about like it's a great place to network because before COVID you could go to network meetings and meet people in your local area. Now like LinkedIn can like really you can use LinkedIn to replace it with that, right? And the other thing is once you get going on LinkedIn, you can apply to do LinkedIn Lives, which is awesome because I mean not everybody and their dog does lives on LinkedIn because it's an application process. But if you can get the ability to go live, um, it will really help your logarithm on LinkedIn. A lot of people will see you. And the thing I will say over and over again, I think the logarithm is huge on LinkedIn in the sense that it's still like Facebook used to be. So people see your stuff. So it's worth it to go post just for the networking alone, I think is worth it. And I honestly think, Jean, that you would be surprised at how many more people that, even if you're like a B2C kind of business, how many more of your people are migrating over to LinkedIn because it's becoming more popular, right?
Yep,
Even though it's been around for
absolutely.
a long time. And I will say though, if you do apply to do a Facebook, or not a Facebook, a LinkedIn Live, it does take a month. It can take a month, 6 weeks type of thing, even 8 weeks before you get notified if if you're accepted or not. I actually applied maybe 3 weeks ago and I haven't heard anything, but one of my friends applied 2 months ago and she just got accepted. So
Yeah, I've applied several times and have not been accepted yet. So no, not everybody I guess gets accepted. And I actually applied. I think the last time I applied was like 6 months ago. So I guess
right.
they don't they don't deem me as good enough to be on LinkedIn Live. But the one thing they do say is that if you don't, they do look for to make sure that either A, you are doing lives in other platforms. So let's say it's Facebook or it's Instagram or something like that. So they will review to make sure that you're doing lives on other platforms before they approve you. And the other thing that they look for is, are you doing videos on LinkedIn? You might not be doing live videos on LinkedIn, but they will look to see, are you doing videos on LinkedIn? Are you posting videos? Because they want to know that you're consistently posting that on your LinkedIn profile. So that is another great way to get exposure on LinkedIn, because lives do get I get notifications for lives all the time in my network for individuals who are going live. So very much top of mind. I guess it's kind of similar to Facebook as well when somebody in your network is going live. But in terms of, I guess, LinkedIn best practices, I guess we can talk about that a little bit. So since it's a professional network, definitely best practices is to keep it professional. Again, different than a Facebook where you are a lot more personal stuff comes out through Facebook, but LinkedIn, it's I do see some some personal updates, but most of it is professional. Like, what are you working on your business? What are you doing? Any updates from your business? What kind of products you have? Things like that. So definitely best practices keep it more on the professional side. Although I do see a lot of dog videos on my LinkedIn lately.
That's funny. Well, it's interesting. I know two women that are very influential women in the Facebook space that are coaches, for example, and they both have completely migrated from Facebook to LinkedIn. So I wouldn't be surprised if down the road, Jean, that we start to see some more personal. I don't know that it will ever become like, Facebook where they put up pictures of them swimming or all of the food you eat and, like all the super personal. But I definitely am seeing more personal than I used to, like, a year ago type of thing. And I think it's just because people are getting tired of Facebook's, like, the rules. Like me, I got shut down. I have no idea what I did wrong. I can't post in groups right now. And I'm like, I can't even post in my own group. I can post under something I previously posted, but it's silly, right? So I know that's what happened with one girl, and she said, fine, I'm done. And she does, like $1 million a year business. And she's like, fine, I'm leaving Facebook. I'm going to take my business to LinkedIn. So there's something to be said if people that are, very influential are taking their business to LinkedIn.
Absolutely. And the other types of the other best practices, and we'll talk about this all week long in terms of what are some of the best practices. The one thing that I do see happen a lot, and I do have 15,000 connections on LinkedIn, so I do get a lot of messages, is that it is very often to get solicited messages,
Yeah.
sorry, unsolicited messages where like companies are trying to like push their products on you. So just be very careful about how you present yourself on LinkedIn, because you don't want to be known as like the person who's constantly messaging people and like pushing your product. As with any social media network, as with any interaction with other human beings, add value, have a conversation, talk to them first, because nobody wants to be sold to. So Just think about that when you are creating your messaging. It's the same thing with LinkedIn. It's the same thing with Instagram. Like, don't push your product, have a conversation, engage, post interesting content, engaging content, get people on a call, and then it's much more likely that when they're engaged with you, that it's much easier to sell your products or services at that point. But don't
Yeah.
be the type of, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's interesting. We had done a podcast interview
Yeah.
with, what was her name? I can't.
Stephanie Burns from
Stephanie
Forbes.
Burns. Yeah, and she's told us flat out the biggest thing is if you can offer value to that person first, like what can you do for them? Like ask what you can do for them or offer something instead of like, oh, me, right? Like be that person that actually gives a crap about that other person. There's a human being behind every computer screen, right? And every human being needs to feel validated, heard, and needs support. So if you think about a person like that, it will go a long way. And the thing is, when you treat someone right and you do that first, they will refer you to other people and it will make your job of lead gen or getting new clients easier. It's just my 2 cents. We had a thing. Marina said, I started on TikTok, but it's tough to create creative content that's both informative and classy, but fun. You know what I would say, Marina, like I would say with any platform, but I will say this about TikTok, is go find other people in your niche on TikTok and see what they put out. And then what you can do is then make it your own in your own flavor, right? Because that's what TikTok's all about, right? And they have trending hashtags and things like that. But just see what other people are doing and then turn it into your own flavor. And you can do things that are creative but still classy. I mean, that's what I've done. Now, I do have a few funny things on there, but I share a lot of content and a lot of information. And I'm not a dancer either. I suck at dancing. So I have 2 left feet. So that's what I've done. And I'm growing my TikTok and I'm almost at 1,000 followers. So I'll be able to go live soon. So I just wanted to share that tidbit with you.
Yeah, thanks, Marina. Actually, I know Marina. We've talked. She was one of my clients, and yeah, Marina. Awesome. So I know a lot about Marina's business, and I know there's probably not. She's an attorney. I know Marina. There's probably not a lot of attorneys on TikTok.
Not true.
It's probably not going to be too many individuals that you can find. But I know that it's a little tough getting creative when you're an attorney, especially like doing immigration and divorce law. So I would say, take some of your videos, make them into 1-minute clips, something that's engaging still, for your audiences. The other thing, you can always do is like the pointy things, like ask the questions, maybe ask 3 questions and do a video like that. And then you can always add the questions in later because people will, still have questions about divorce and immigration and whatnot. So that's probably my recommendation. I know it's probably a little bit tough, but I would, just think about some of the more creative things that you can do when it comes to video. I know it's a little tough with, being an attorney.
Well, I will say this, Jean, I hear what you're saying, but I think you'll be surprised at how many more mainstream people are actually getting on. I haven't looked for attorneys, but I've seen doctors, dentists, anesthesiologists, therapists, plumbers, all kinds of people like that. And what they do is they just share basic info that the average normal Joe or Jan doesn't really know, right? The things that you think are like everybody knows, like the foundations of your business, people don't, right? So stuff like that is really helpful.
3 simple questions.
Yeah.
Oh man. Great. Well, thanks for the question, Marina. And if you please feel free to reach out to us directly. I think you're in our group, so or if you're not in our group, then definitely join our group. That is Women Entrepreneurs, Digital Marketing for Women Entrepreneurs. And that's our podcast. Sorry, let me put the group together. Yeah, so that's you should go to wedm.group. You can join our group if you're not, or Marina, if just feel free to post in our group if you're part of it. And there's probably, besides us, there's other individuals who can provide some support for you in terms of what you can do on TikTok. So thanks for the question.
Yes.
And if you guys if you're a woman entrepreneur, we would love to see you in our group. It is Digital Marketing and Tech for Women Entrepreneurs. And we have grown our group quite a bit lately. We have a lot of amazing women entrepreneurs in the group. I think we're almost to 300 members. So we just started doing this back in March or something like that.
Yeah, like we just thought it'd be really awesome and cool to get women together that, need more help and support in digital marketing and tech. And here we are. It's fun. We love supporting. We love how everybody is supporting one another. So please come join us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, everybody. We will see you tomorrow, and we'll talk more about LinkedIn.